Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new upSchool video. So in today's video, we'll be solving question number 1 of exercise 1.1 of CBSE Class 7 Math Chapter 1, Integers. So hope you guys enjoy. And subscribe, like, and don't forget to share this video to all your friends. So this is question 1 of CBSE Class 7 Math Chapter 1, Integers 1.1. So we're going to be solving this question and all of its sub-questions. So this question says, the following number line shows the temperature in degrees Celsius at different places on a particular day. So there are 4 sub-questions underneath that are related to this number line, basically, finding numbers on the number line and, adding and subtracting. So these are the actual solutions and answers to number 1 and all its sub-questions. You can copy them down if you want, but now I'll be explaining how to solve this. So first, let's solve sub-question A, the first one. So sub-question A says, observe this number line and write the temperature of the places marked on it. So let's just try to observe this number line like it told us to. Like any number line, there's a 0, and all the numbers to the left of 0 are the negative numbers. All the numbers to the right of 0 are all the positive numbers. And another thing you have to observe in this specific number line is that for any two given numbers that are marked on this number line, for example 0 and 5, these numbers are marked on the number line. There's 4 numbers in between these two numbers. Okay? 0 and 5 are marked on this number line, or just take any two numbers marked on this number line. There's 4 numbers in between them. For example, there's for 0 and 5, though they're just 2 numbers that are marked on this number line, there are 4 numbers in between them, 1, 2, 3, 4, and yeah. So for negative 5 and 0, though there are some other 2 numbers that are marked on this number line, there are 4 numbers in between them, negative 4, negative 3, negative 2, and negative 1. So now let's write the temperature of the places marked on it. So basically, on this number line, there are marked a couple of places. And from where the place, so we have to find out what number these places are marked on in this number line. And by finding this number, that number is basically the temperature of that place in degrees Celsius. So let's find the temperature of the place Bengaluru. So to find the temperature of the place Bengaluru, we have to find out where Bengaluru is marked in this number line. Okay. So Bengaluru is the first place that we're gonna find its temperature. So let's just try to find out where Bengaluru is marked in this number line. So first, let's just, what number do you think Bengaluru might be? What number do you think Bengaluru might be marked in this number line? Well, Bengaluru, the temperature of Bengaluru is probably marked between 20 and 25, right? But is the temperature of Bengaluru 21, 22, 23, or 24? We don't know that yet. Well, as we learned, there are 4 numbers in between any two given numbers in this number line. Bengaluru is in between the numbers 20 and 25. So, as we learned, for any two given numbers on this number line, there are 4 numbers in between them. 20 and 25, there should be 4 numbers marked in between 20 and 25, and there are. And those 4 numbers, if we just put them in number order, it's 21, 22, 23, and 24. So those little ticks are supposed to represent these numbers, except they don't actually have them written down, so we're supposed to find them out ourselves. So now we can clearly see that 22 is the number that Bengaluru is marked on. So since Bengaluru is marked at 22, that means that the temperature of Bengaluru is 22 degrees Celsius. So now let's try to find the temperature of Uti. So the temperature of Uti is marked in between, well, basically the number that Uti is marked on in this number line is in between 10 and 15. the four numbers in between 10 and 15, there are 11, 12, 13, 14, as I've marked down over here. We can clearly see that 24 is clearly the number that Uchi is marked on. 14 is the number that Uchi is marked on. So that means that the temperature of Uchi is, that was a typo, but the temperature of Uchi is 14 degrees Celsius. It's not 11 degrees Celsius, it's 14 degrees Celsius. Okay, so now let's try to find the temperature of the place, Shimla. So it's clear, so without doing any work, we can clearly see that Shimla is marked as the number 5 that they have already written on this number line. So we don't have to do any more work. We can just say that the temperature of Shimla is 5 degrees Celsius. Notice that all these numbers are marked to the right of 0, so that means they're positive numbers, as we have discussed. So now let's try to find the temperature of Srinagar. So Srinagar is marked between the places -5 and 0, right? So there are four numbers between -5 and 0, and they are -4, -3, -2, and -1. -2 is clearly the place that Srinagar is marked on. So that makes the temperature of Srinagar -2 degrees Celsius. Since the place where Srinagar is marked on is to the left of 0, that makes it a negative number. So that makes the temperature of Srinagar -2 degrees Celsius. So now let's try to find the temperature of Lahul Spiti. So Lahul Spiti, comment down below if you know where Lahul Spiti is located in. It's marked the number that Lahul Spiti is marked on is in between -10 and -5. There are four numbers between -10 and -5. They are -9, -8, -7, and -6. Clearly, Lahul Spiti is marked at -8, which makes the temperature of Lahul Spiti -8 degrees Celsius. So, these are the answers to sub-question A of question 1. We've basically done everything. We have observed the number line, and we wrote the temperature of the places marked on it. There are 5 places listed on the number line, and we have wrote all the places. We have wrote the temperature of all their places. And just to let you know one more time, Uti is a typo. It's supposed to be 14 degrees Celsius, not 11 degrees Celsius. So these are the answers. Just remember, Uti is 14 degrees Celsius, not 11. So let's move on. Now let's try to find the answer to sub-question B, the second sub-question. So sub-question B says, what is the temperature difference between the hottest and the coldest places among the above? This is sub-question B, right? So sub-question A is above sub-question B. So they want us to find the temperature difference between the hottest and coldest places among the above, among the answers to the above answer. We have to find the difference between the hottest and coldest places among the answers to question A. So we have to find the temperature difference between the hottest and coldest places. So because of the data we have, we can clearly find the hottest and coldest places. And difference, well, just to let you know, difference is another word for subtraction. So we have to basically subtract and find the difference between the hottest and coldest places among the above, which among the above is basically our answers to sub-question A. So the data we have right here from sub-question A would easily help us find the difference, or basically subtract the hottest and coldest places. The hottest place is the temperature, which is the greatest temperature, is obviously the hottest place, which in this case is Bengaluru. Bengaluru is the hottest place because it is 22 degrees Celsius, which is, the biggest number. And the coldest place is the place whose temperature is, is the lowest. And the lowest one is Lahul Spiti because it is -8 degrees Celsius, which is clearly the least of the others. So to find the difference, we basically have to subtract the temperatures. So we have to subtract the temperature of Bengaluru by the temperature of Lahul Spiti. So that's easy. We'll just do 22 minus -8. Now, as you've learned, so you've probably learned how to subtract, add positive and negative integers. By the way, an integer is a whole or negative number. But just to let you know, here's just some things to help you. Minus and plus is always a minus. Plus and minus is always a minus. Plus and plus is a plus, and minus is plus. So in our equation, we have minus and minus, as you can see here. And so minus and minus is plus. So in order to solve 22 minus a, we simply just convert it to 22 plus a. Why? Because minus and minus is plus. So we can just convert 22 minus a into 22 plus 8, because minus and minus is plus. And 22 plus 8 is easy to solve. It's simply just 30. So by subtracting the hottest and coldest places, or basically subtracting the temperature of Bengaluru, the hottest place, by the temperature of Lahul Spiti, we got 30. So that means the temperature difference between the hottest and coldest places is 30 degrees Celsius. So here is the actual answer to sub-question B. You can note it down. The hottest place is Bangalore, which has the hottest temperature, 22 degrees Celsius, and the coldest place is Lahul Spiti with the coldest temperature, -8 degrees Celsius. So to find the temperature difference, we subtract the hottest and coldest places. So we do 22 minus -8, which, as you learned, minus and minus is a plus. So we do 22 plus 8, which is 30. So our answer is 30 degrees Celsius temperature difference. So now let's try to find the answer to sub-question C. What is the temperature difference between Lahul Spiti and Srinagar? Well, we know the temperatures of all the places by doing sub-question A. So we'll just use this data to find the temperature difference, as we know difference is subtraction, between Lahul Spiti and Srinagar. So we have to basically subtract the temperatures of Lahul Spiti and Srinagar. The temperature of Lahul Spiti is -8 degrees Celsius, and the temperature of Srinagar is -2 degrees Celsius, right? So we have to find the difference, or basically subtract them. So just to let you know, to subtract them, you don't just do -8, which is the temperature of Lahul Spiti, minus -2. -2 is the temperature of Srinagar. You don't do that. So when you're finding the difference, here's some key points to know. When you're finding a temperature difference, you don't do this. Okay, so you subtract by, subtracting the larger number minus the smaller number. Okay, so by doing -8 minus -2, -8 is smaller than -2. When you're finding a difference, you don't do a smaller number minus a bigger number. When you're finding a difference, even the difference is subtraction, you basically do a greater number subtracted by a smaller number. So -2 minus -8. -2a is bigger than -8, which is why it's okay to find the difference. You have to do -2 minus -8. Just to let you know. So how do we do -2 minus -8? Well, the operation we have to do is minus, and the number you're subtracting by is -8. So minus and minus is plus, as we learned. And minus is plus, so we just do -2 plus 8, which is plus 6. So by finding the temperature difference between Lahul Spiti and Srinagar, the temperature difference is plus 6 degrees Celsius. So this is the actual answer to sub-question C of CBSE Class 7 Math Chapter 1 Integers, Exercise 1.1, Question 1, Sub-question C. So now that we've finished answering and solving sub-questions A, B, and C, last but not least, we have to solve sub-question D. Sub-question D says, can we say that the temperature of Srinagar and Shimla taken together is less than the temperature at Shimla? Is it also less than the temperature at Srinagar? So this question may be hard to actually understand at first, but this one sub-question is divided into parts. There are two parts that you need to solve. And the answers to both of the parts is the answer to the sub-question D. So the first part of the question we need to answer is the temperature of Srinagar plus the temperature of Shimla equal to less than the temperature of Shimla? In other words, if we add the temperature of Srinagar plus temperature of Shimla, will the answer be less than the temperature of Shimla? And the second part of the question is the temperature of Srinagar plus the temperature of Shimla will equal to less than the temperature of Srinagar? Or in other words, if we add the temperature of Srinagar plus the temperature of Shimla, will the answer be less than the temperature at Srinagar? So let's try to solve both of the parts. Let's begin by solving part number 1. So is the temperature of Srinagar, plus the temperature of Shimla equal to less than the temperature at Shimla? So what's the temperature at Srinagar? Well, the temperature of Srinagar is -2 degrees. We have to add it to the temperature at Shimla, which is 5. So -2 plus 5 is 3, right? So we got an answer of 3 degrees Celsius. And this answer is less than the temperature at Srinagar, okay? So our answer is 3 degrees Celsius, and the temperature at Shimla is 5 degrees Celsius. So the answer is 3 degrees Celsius is less than 5 degrees Celsius, the temperature at Shimla. So is the temperature of Srinagar plus temperature of Shimla equal to less than the temperature at Shimla? Yes, it actually is, because if you do -2 plus 5, that equals 3 degrees Celsius, which is less than the temperature of Shimla, which is 5 degrees Celsius, positive 5 degrees Celsius. So we can say that the temperature of Srinagar and the temperature of Shimla put together is less than the temperature of Shimla. So now let's try to solve the second part of the question. Is the temperature of Srinagar plus the temperature at Shimla equal to less than the temperature at Srinagar? So that's a typo. It's supposed to be question 2. So this part of the question is exactly like the first part of the question, only when adding the temperature of Srinagar and the temperature of Shimla, will the answer be less than the temperature at Srinagar? The last problem was, will the answer be less than the temperature at Shimla? But this part of the question is the sum going to be less than the temperature of Srinagar? So as we already did in our previous part of the question, the temperature at Srinagar is -2 degrees. We have to add it to the temperature at Shimla, which is 5 degrees, and that equals to 3 degrees Celsius. Now, 3 degrees Celsius is not less than the temperature of Srinagar. Why? Because the temperature at Srinagar is -2 degrees, right? -2 degrees is not less than the temperature at Srinagar. Well, we got an answer of 3 degrees Celsius, right? 3 degrees Celsius is not less than the temperature at Srinagar. 3 degrees Celsius is actually greater than -2, the temperature at Srinagar. So the temperature of Srinagar and the temperature of Shimla put together is not less than the temperature of Srinagar. In other words, the temperature of Srinagar, -2, added to the temperature of Shimla, 5, is equal to 3, and the answer is 3 degrees Celsius is not less than the temperature of Srinagar, which is -2 degrees, but the sum, 3 degrees Celsius, is greater than the temperature of Srinagar. The temperature of Srinagar is -2 degrees Celsius. -2 degrees Celsius, well, 3 degrees Celsius is not less than -2 degrees Celsius. 3 degrees Celsius is greater than -2 degrees Celsius. So yes, this is the actual answer to sub-question D. Okay, the answer is the temperature of Srinagar and the temperature of Shimla put together is less than the temperature of Shimla, although it is not less than the temperature of Srinagar. This is the answer to sub-question D. Okay, so now we have finished solving all the sub-questions of question 1 of exercise 1.1 of NCERT Class 7 Math Chapter 1. So since we solved all the sub-questions, we solved the entire question 1 of exercise 1.1 of cbse Class 7 Math Chapter 1, exercise 1.1. So once again, these are all the answers to question 1 of exercise 1.1. Just let you guys know one more time. For sub-question A, the temperature of Uti is 14 degrees Celsius. That was a typo. So yeah. That's about it, guys. Stay tuned for more upSchool videos, CBSE online classes, free, and subscribe if you want to be a first ranker. And yeah, that's about it. This is upSchool. Greatness starts here. Signing off.